Well, good morning and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. We're super excited to have you. There has been a flurry of excitement around this webinar. It seems we have well over 100 agencies that have registered for this webinar, so we're excited to have you. This has always been a popular training when we've done this one-on-one class, and so we're looking forward to presenting it to you today. It's going to be I think, some tremendously valuable information. If you're a longtime user or a new user, we always find that people get a lot out of this because things are forgotten, or you miss things, or you didn't realize the system did something. So I'm sure everyone here is going to pick up something that's going to be helpful for them today. A little bit about the format of the class. You might have seen on some opening slides there that that you are muted. So when we have this many people, it's hard to have a conversation with each other verbally, but we are providing you a way to interact with us. And so through your GoToWebinar control panel, which should be floating on the right hand of the screen there, and you can, by the way, you can fold that in and out. There's a little orange box here that you can click on that allows you to fold that in and out to get it out of your way. But in there should be an option for questions. And so we encourage you, as you think of those questions, send them our way, and we're going to do our best towards the end of the training today to get to as many of those questions and hopefully all of them. If we end up running long, you're welcome to stay. We'll go as long as people want to hang out. And then any questions we are unable to answer or maybe quickly answer in a conversation here, we will make sure that an evidence specialist gets back to you and gets that question answered for you. And one more thing too, at the end of this webinar, because we're going to cover a lot in a short period of time, if you need additional training or help, there's going to be a brief survey at the end of this webinar where you can submit, kind of let us know how we did and submit any requests that you might have. So we want to make sure that if you need something else more than you saw here today, we want to make sure that you have a way to correspond with us quickly at the end of this webinar. And just to let you know, we have an upcoming webinar. So any of you out there that are unfamiliar with this or curious, are looking for a digital evidence management system, or if you are struggling in any way or feeling overwhelmed with managing your digital evidence, we offer a very robust and powerful digital evidence application that integrates with EvidenceOnQ. So if you're having to burn DVDs or CDs for sharing or storing, or if you would even just like to be able to view and access your digital evidence from EvidenceOnQ, you might want to come to this webinar and check it out and see what it has to offer and see if it might be something that'd be helpful, not only for you, but for actually really every stakeholder that has to deal with digital evidence. So this is going to be on May 26th, and then we'll be sending out an announcement for this most likely sometime next week, and giving some people more information about it and an opportunity to register. Okay, Shannon. We have Shannon with us today. Shannon Turner has, I would call her, she's much more than a property and evidence specialist. I think she's a master of all things related to evidence. She has been with FileOnQ a long time and just does an amazing job. So she's going to be training you today. So Shannon, I'd like to hand this over to you if you're ready on your end.
I am ready on my end. I will be taking frequent drink of water breaks because I'm very dry today. Okay.
Well, hopefully your personality's not dry. You're going to put us to sleep.
Oh, no, no. I have never had anyone fall asleep during any of my trainings. You know, I was thinking as you were introducing it and talking about the basics, I think one of the hardest parts for me is when we decide, oh, let's do it back to basics, you know, in EvidenceOnQ 101. The hardest part was choosing the topics, because you guys know I love this system and I get so excited about it. And I'm like, I don't want to leave this out. I don't want to leave this out. And, you know, I don't want to make batch update feel bad because I didn't talk about it. And anyway, so let's get it all started. I'm going to switch over here. I am going to share this with you really quick. Okay, here's the formal intro. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. It really has been a while, hasn't it? I am excited to be I'm excited to be facilitating a webinar again. I think it's been almost 2 years since I actually hosted one. And, you know, I think our lives are finally getting back to a subvariant of normal, I guess. Like how I threw in that variant word, although I'm not sure really anymore what normal is anymore. It seems like every day is a new normal, right? Like Craig said,
Yeah, for sure.
the goal of today's webinar is to go over some of the basic functions of EvidenceOnQ, and I'm going to throw in a few little fun things too. There's several reasons that we decided to do this topic. We discovered that many agencies have had a turnover in their evidence staff since they had EvidenceOnQ installed, and then the new person received little or no training at all on how to use EvidenceOnQ. And some of you have been using the system for a while, and maybe you've forgotten some of the things that we discussed, during your initial training. Also, if you're joining us today and you don't have EvidenceOnQ yet, this maybe will give you a small glimpse of how the system works and the type of ongoing training that we provide. So keep in mind also, we are recording this and we will send you a link. So you don't have to frantically write down notes because you're going to be able to watch this again and again. You can pause and take notes. You can even slow it down because I know I talk fast. All right, so today our topics are going to include the basic barcode functionality. We're going to talk about ways to search the system. We're going to talk about using the browse feature, about exporting things into Excel. We'll talk about the user groups and permissions. There we go. Then we're going to discuss some various scenarios for using batch update, talk about creating and modifying locations, and then also adding to lookup tables. I think these are some of the essentials, and to help you feel comfortable in how to use the system just basically on a day-to-day basis. So I'm going to skip out of that and I'm going to switch over. All right, Craig, are you able to see the screen?
Yeah, it's coming through great,
Okay,
Shannon.
perfect, thank you. So before we jump into our topics, I do want to remind you that I am using my own database with a profile screen that I designed. So when you look at this, you might think, wait, that does not look like our screen. You may recall way back when you first saw the EvidenceOnQ system that one of the most appealing features is that this profile screen is completely flexible and configured to meet the needs of each agency. The first thing that we did during the implementation of your system is we sat down and discussed, what do you want this screen to look like? Now, if you're the one who designed it, you're thinking, oh, that's the best looking screen I've ever seen in my life. If you weren't involved in the implementation of EvidenceOnQ and came along after the fact, you might be thinking, oh, I sure wish we had a field for this, or why did they put the fields in that order? Or for, all my fellow type A friends, why are the fields not aligned? So one of the most important things I want you to remember is that you can make changes to your profile screen. The screen that you have is not set in stone. You can rename fields, move them around, add fields, delete them. That's the beauty of the system, is it's configurable to change as your needs change. Now, I'm not going to spend time in this webinar to go into the detail about the profiler, but if you have questions about making changes, please contact support or training, and we'll be happy to teach you about the profiler. Okay, it's time to get into the nitty-gritty. As we work through the topics today, you may notice that when I go to do something, I go up to my toolbar and click on the icon. And again, you'll say, wait, my toolbar does not look like that. In the desktop client, you can customize your toolbar to save clicks and streamline your processes. So each person can customize their toolbar to meet their workflow, job duties, and personal preferences. And I realize this isn't on the agenda, but I'm going to very quickly remind you how to customize your toolbar. Anywhere on the toolbar, you put your cursor and then you right click and you click on customize. The magic customize box pops up. Once this is displayed, now you can customize your toolbar. So if you don't want something on it, you can just highlight it and just drag it off. Or maybe you want to, maybe you're going to create a bunch of locations today, and it would be nice to put the location icon on your toolbar for the day. I'm going to click on Commands. You come down, and over here on the left, this is the list of topics that are up here. So I will come down to Data. Here's my locations. I'm gonna drag it, and I'm gonna up to wherever I want it to be on my toolbar. And then if you want to put the words beside the icon, you can right click on it and click on Image and Text, and it will put the words beside it. Okay, so that's if you're doing special projects and you want to just put some shortcuts up there for the day, you can. Okay, so now let's start with, we're on the topic of customizing and modifying. Let's talk about how to modify your lookup values. As time goes on, your needs are going to change. I was working with an agency and I noticed they didn't have a category for latent prints in their item type field here. And I said, well, what do you put your latent prints under? And they said, well, they just all go under other. So for those of you who know me, the word other makes me actually start to convulse. So let's talk quickly about how to modify these lists. You have different types of drop downs. You will have simple lookups, coded lookups, and your control field. So most of the maintenance for adding to lists is under the data menu. So I'm going to come down, and this says, here's your simple lookups, here's your coded lookups. Let's start with a simple lookup. When you click on that, up at the top, this gives you the name of the fields that you have that have a lookup. So let's say I wanted to add to the color field. I click on the color field. Down below are the values that are being used. So let's say I'm going to put in a new one. Let's click on new, and then I will put in, let's do off-white. Okay, let's add another one. Let's add, magenta. I recommend you not get that granular, and then we'll just hit OK. So then when you go back to here, you can see we've got magenta, we've got off-white. So some of you also have fields that are coded. So again, we're going to go up to data and we're going to choose the coded lookup. The coded lookup has a value in front of it and then the description afterwards. So for mine, I had my offenses in order of where they would be most often used. So again, you just click on new, and let's see, we'll add number 9, and let's see, let's call this, I'm just going to call it court surrender. Click on OK, and now it's there. When you go up to the offense category, we've got number 9, and we have court surrender. Now, for those of you who want to add to your item type, that's the one that is usually evolving so much. This is a unique field. This is a control field. In other words, it controls the fields that are dependent on it. So we'll go back up to our data again, come down to control field. Up at the top again are the values that you have. If I were to click on one of them, I'd say bicycle, down at the bottom, on the left, this tells you the fields that are available to turn on. And over here on the right, these are the fields that are actually enabled when they choose bicycle. Okay, so brand, color. To add to the list, you click on values, and then you click on new. And let's call this, oh gosh, I'm having a lack of creativity today. Let's go with brass knuckles. There we go. And then click on OK. Oh, look, I already have brass knuckles in it. Let's see. Let's call it a magazine. Okay. So then once it's in there, and I should have said like material, magazines, publications, that's what I was trying to think of. So now we've got magazines up here, and we want to decide what do you want to turn on. So we will go to the brand. There's the brand, we'll bring it over so you see, and we'll hit apply. Now remember that when you add to your control field, then you need to come refresh the profile. So we will update all of these values and then the fields that are dependent on it. So to do that, you just go to Tools, and then you go to, you go to Tools. There we go. And then you go to Refresh Profile, and then it's refreshed. Okay. And then now we have the magazines in there. Okay, that was incredibly underwhelming, wasn't it? Okay, let's keep going. We're going to go on to different ways to scan barcodes. So as you know, in the system you have two different types of barcodes. You have a barcode that represents an item. That's, just give you an example here. And I'm scanning the barcode label that's on this item. You also have barcodes that represent locations. So you have, give you an idea of what I've got, you know, shelves, boxes, fridges, freezers, people, a status like admitted into court, destroyed, returned to owner. So you use these barcodes to help you manage your evidence. So we're going to start with different ways to scan. The first thing you're going to do is you've got one item in front of you. I'm going to just scan it, and it brings it up. The only thing that this system is thinking about is this item. It tells you where it is, who put it there. Now let's say that I wanted to put that camera equipment in a different location. I don't want it in bin 12 anymore. I'm just going to scan the barcode of where it goes, and I scan B1, and you'll see it immediately put it there. Now this is just doing one item at a time. Here's one more item. I'm going to scan this next item, and I don't even have to clear the screen. I just scan, here's my ammo, and I'm going to put that on shelf A1, and I scan shelf A1. So all you're doing is scanning one item, and then when you scan a location barcode, it knows, oh, I just need to put it in that location. Now, it's not real often, though, that we just do one at a time, every once in a while, but usually when we're putting things away in mass. So let's put multiple items in the same location. So the first thing I'll do is I'm going to scan the safe barcode. Oh, one thing I need to remind you of is when you're scanning a location, make sure that your screen is clear. Because if you have data on the screen and you scan a location, it's going to put the item there. So I have a nice force of habit that when I'm done doing anything on the computer, I just hit the escape key to make sure it's cleared. So you scan the barcode location first. Here's the safe, and then you scan what you're going to put in the safe. You scan those items. Okay, then you click on OK, and they're done. Now let's say that you're putting multiple items away in multiple locations. So we're going to show you how to do that now. I'm going to scan, let's say, the handgun vault, and then I am going to put these guns in the handgun vault. Now I'm going to scan the freezer, and then let's put the SART kits and swabs in the freezer. Now I'm going to go on to the safe, and let's put this money in the safe. And then lastly, let's just say here's bin 11, and then we're going to scan what goes in bin 11. So some of you may not know that you can just scan a location barcode, scan the items, put them there, go to the next location, rinse and repeat. If you're using your barcode scanner that is live with a specific computer, then it will just appear on your computer like you're seeing here. If you're using the mobile device and you're scanning the items, it'll be displayed on the mobile device. So we're going to click on OK, and we're done. There's another feature that I've told everybody is one of my favorites, and the reason it's my favorite is because it was my idea. Back in 2002, 20 years later, I'm still hanging on to my moment of fame. And this is called Query by Scan. I'll tell you how this started. I was at my police department. I had a pile of stuff in front of me that I had grabbed, and I wanted to send letters to the owner. And I was like, you know, I don't want to have to just like scan the item and then do the letter, right? Scan the next item, do the letter. So I called FileOnQ and I said, I want to be able to take all these items, put them into a group, and then do something with the group. So they created Query by Scan. I actually put that on my toolbar and I named it Scan a Group. So I'm going to click on Scan a Group. We're going to scan some items, and then click on Query. Now I've got this group of 6. Now that they're in this group, I can do anything I want to with this group. I could say, oh, I need to have it send the letter to the owner. Now this group didn't have anything in common. It didn't have the same case or the same owner or anything, but I put them in the group, and then when I say print the owner letter, it's going to actually figure out who owns what in which case, and it will sort out who owns it, okay? So that is the ability to scan things into a group, do something with a group. The next thing that I want to show you is, well, quick checkout. So you use your barcode scanner when you're checking items out, releasing them to an owner. So I'll show you how we use the scanner for that. I'm going to come up and tell the system I need to transfer this item with a signature. So the first thing it asks you is to scan where it's going. So I will scan release to owner. Then you're going to scan the items you're giving back to the owner. So we're going to scan these items here. We tell it why. Let's say case closed. You put in a comment in this section, and then you can even put the name of the person you're releasing it to. If you want a receipt, you put the little check mark here. If you don't need a receipt, you just take that off. So now we click on transfer, and then the person is going to sign their name like that. And they, regardless of how many items that you're giving them, they only have to sign their name one time, and it attaches that signature to the chain of custody of each one of these items you scanned. So we'll just click on accept and show you the receipt if you would like that. There you go. We'll go into more detail on that because we're just focusing on scanning right now. Now, I have a little bonus feature that I wanted to throw in here about how to use your scanner. I know that many agencies, when items go to the lab and then they come back, they have the lab barcode number on them. And so they want to be able to put that lab number in their database. So let me show you a quick way to do that. I want you to envision this is the scenario I did with Miami PD a few years ago when we were inventorying all of their SART kits. So I want you to envision I have a pile of SART kits in front of me. They've come back from the lab and they have a little barcode label on them that the lab has put on there. They also have your EvidenceOnQ barcode label on them, right? Okay, so you're going to go up and tell the system, I want to edit by scan. That means there's a specific field that I want to edit, but I'm going to scan the value into that field. So click on edit by scan, and it's asking you which field is it we're editing. And this has a list of all your fields on your profile screen. So I said, I want to edit the lab number. So the first thing then you do is I will scan my sexual assault kit, see how it puts it right here with the barcode and the description. Now I am going to scan the barcode that the lab put on there. So I scanned it, and then see over here, it populates that. Now I'm going to go, oh, here's my next item, and here's the lab barcode. So you get the idea. You just rinse and repeat with all of those kits, and then it will make a list for you. And when you're done, you can click on update, and now it's done. They're all in there. The same could work then maybe for your auction barcode. If you use propertyroom.com, you can get all of the items ready to go to auction, and you have the barcodes, the little barcode stickers on the items. So all you would have to do is use this feature, go down and scan the item and then the little auction barcode. And then when you're done, really quick, I'll show you. Once you have all of those populated, then when you go up and you print your propertyroom.com manifest, it actually just prints that barcode that you've scanned instead of having to stick the little stickers on your manifest. All right, so that was a little bonus of ways to scan. Okay, quick breath of air, quick drink of water, and going on.
And just let everybody know, if you have questions at any point here, just go ahead and submit those, and we'll get to those later. So, but Jenna, you're doing such a great job. There's been no questions so far. So okay. I just want to remind people they can do that.
Yeah, and if you have any questions at all, keep them to yourself. Okay, so you know, this is a good segue into the topic of locations, creating locations. I love the fact that you can create as many unique locations as you want to. You can also modify, you know, the name of existing locations. So to go to your locations menu, you can go up to data and then down to the little pink house, you know, little pink houses for you and me, and click on locations. I put mine as a toolbar on my an icon on my toolbar. So when you click on locations, this gives you a list of all your locations. You could sort by the code, you could sort by the name, you could sort by what category they're in. Any of these you can sort by. Then if you ever wanted to know what is in a specific location, yes, you can go to query by current location, but if you just click on the name of it and you double click, oh, there's nothing there. But it would give you the name of the items that are in that location. So let's create a new location. Let's call it pending lab delivery. Oh, we have one in there. Let's call it pending release to owner. I have that one too. Wow. Pending deposit. Oh, I have that one. Let's do a different one. Okay, new. So let's say when you click on new, it opens up this manager box. The first thing I do is I actually start with the name. So I'm going to call this pending pick delivery to Secret Service. Okay, and then the code is an abbreviation or an acronym for it. When you look at location barcodes, some of them are really, you know, not very wide, some of them are really wide, and that's depending on the code. So if you made this really wordy, it's going to be so wide you can't scan it. So I'm just going to call this PDTSS. Okay, and then you can put a note. We'll call this counterfeit ready to send to Secret Service, and then a category. We could say it's in, or I'm going to just say it's in. Now remember your categories. In means you have it, you're in control of it, you have custody of it. Out means I don't have it right now, but it's probably coming back, like if it's out for follow-up or out to the lab. Final means it's gone, it's never coming back. Pending final means it's on its way out the door. Yes, we still have it, but it's on its way to be final. And remember what we've learned in the IAPE classes: never show something final until it's final. Never show it's destroyed until it's destroyed. So I've created my location and I click on OK, and now it's there. And now once it's in there, we can go up to our labels. We can put it on a label or a control sheet. And I'll find that here, pending delivery. Oh, there we go. Here's the one we just made, and it's pending delivery to Secret Service. Okay, so that is how to create a new location. Now, if let's say you go into your locations and you have realized that you have some locations that don't have the correct category assigned, you can go in, you can grab your list of locations. Then if you just go up to the category, you can change the category this way. Okay, and then I realize these aren't out, but just to show you. And then you click here, and then they're changed. So you don't have to do them all individually. Okay. So the topics I chose today don't really flow very well from one to the other. So we're done with creating locations. Now let's, one more thing. I wanted to go back and show you, what if I wanted to change the name of that location that I created because it was so big it didn't fit on my barcode label. The code is the code, okay? That doesn't change, but you can come back and you can change the name of it anytime you want, pending Secret Service, okay? So you can change that name anytime you want to, and that's what's going to show up on your location barcode label anyway. There we go. Okay, now we're done with locations. Let's talk about, let's go to our next one, and that is batch update. So I want to leave a lot of time for searching and Excel at the end. Batch update is one of my favorite features of the system. Let's go through this scenario. I'm going to grab a couple items from a case. Let's just do these right here. You had a major case or huge search warrant, major crime scene. And you have, I've got 59 items in this group, and you booked everything in. A couple days later, the investigator comes in and says, I realized I booked these all under the wrong case number. Or maybe we didn't know who the suspect is and now we do know who the suspect is. Or it came in as an assault and our victim passed away, so now it's a homicide. Or we didn't know who the owner is and now we do know who the owner is. So many scenarios. I know you've encountered these on a daily basis. So I'm going to take these 59 records and I'm going to update information about these 59. I go to batch update. Now I have mine on my toolbar. The longer way to get to it is you go to the file menu and click on batch update. Okay, so I'm going to click on batch update. Over here on the left is a list of all the fields that you have on your profile screen. So you will go through and just choose which field you want to change and what the new value is. So the case number, let's say it is 22-050522. I just threw in today's date for fun. Okay, so here's our new case number. And let's see, we'll do, I have a penal code field for California agencies. I'm going to say this is a 187. The crime code is now a homicide. Let's come down and say that the suspect's last name is Mr. Jones and Tom Jones. It's not really an unusual name. Oh, that was just really brilliant for those of you who got it. Okay, so what you've done is you've gone through and chosen what fields you want to change, put in the new value. When you're done, you click on Run. You verify that you want to do it. Say, yes, I'm doing 59 of them. Just a little safety net to make sure you don't change, 100,000 records by accident. And now they're all done. So when we go back to these 59 records, we've got the case number, we've got Mr. Tom Jones, it's a homicide, etc. This is another tool you can use. So like, let's say a detective retires or gets promoted, and you want to go in and look at all the cases that they're the assigned detective and batch update it to be the new person who's going to take over their cases. Or, oh, I just sent a letter for all 59 of these items. Then I would want to come up to my batch update. I would want to come down to my letter sent field, tell it, oh, I sent the letter today. And then by filling in the field with the date you sent the letter, now it's going to monitor those 30 days that they have, to claim their letter. You can also use batch update to update, here we go, the retention code if you needed to do that. So that is a little tutorial on batch update. All right, now I think the final two topics are ways to search the system and pushing things into Excel, and those go pretty much hand in hand. So, I could spend an entire day discussing every way to search the system, but today I'm just going to briefly search on a few various methods. First of all, probably 90% of the time, you are doing your searches on your profile screen. Remember, every field or combination of fields is searchable. So you can put in the case number if you have it, but not, of course, everyone has the case number. Every field is searchable. You can say, oh, it was collected by Bruce Adams and it came from a search warrant and it was on a homicide. Okay, I'm going to just hit enter on my keyboard and there's 40 items that match that search. Let's click on browse and take a look. So if I wanted to, I could sort by where these items are. I could maybe sort by the case number and say, oh, I just need the ones from this case, and you could select those, or you could even come back and say, and I also want just the meth that he recovered from search warrants. So you can sort and resort and select. I'll click on OK. Now I've just got those 15 items. Now, if I wanted to go back to that main list, though, I wouldn't have to go back and search for Bruce Adams collected it from a search warrant on a homicide. Just go back to browse. It's all still there. You can just hit deselect all and resort, and then choose an additional group. So that was filling in things I know. Let's fill in, let's do a search for things that maybe you don't know, okay? I am looking for a case that was in 22. So I'll just do 22, and I'm going to use the asterisk as a wildcard. That's the part I don't know. So 22 begins with. Okay, then you can also throw in, I know it was a Glock, and I know it was on a homicide, and then on the serial number, you could even say, I know that it ended with 99. So you could go asterisk 99, okay? Or if you know it began with 99, you do 99 asterisk. Or if you know 99 is somewhere in there, you would just do asterisk 99 asterisk. That means serial number contains, okay? Now, when you're doing your searches, also don't forget about your location category. So if you wanted to say, I'm looking for all my firearms that are Glocks, if you just hit enter there, it would give you every Glock in your system, regardless of the status. But if you want to just narrow it down to the ones you have, include that location category in your lookups. So say, I only want Glocks that are in, hit enter. Here's a little trick for you. Now this is, of course, if you have all your locations categorized correctly. I want to know how many sexual assault kits we have. I just say, I want all the sexual assault kits that are in. You hit enter. I have 92. So it works for everything. So how many bicycles do I have that are pending final? Or you get the idea, right? So you can include or exclude things you're looking for by using that location category. Here's another trick. What if you wanted to find all the items that have a lab number in them? Remember that lab number I populated earlier? If I do asterisk, question mark, asterisk, that means I want you to show me every record that has any value at all in this lab number field. I hit enter and I've got 23, and now I can click on browse. Okay. Now we're talking about how to make browse your BFF. Browse can be very helpful for you on a daily basis and also in special projects. So let's say that you're working on a gun destruction project, and normally you don't have, there we go, your make and model and serial number and that kind of thing in browse. But in this project, you do want to include it in browse. So I'm going to go into the profiler. The profiler is a tool that is installed on a specific computer. If you're an admin or work in property and evidence, you probably have that tool on your toolbar. On your computer. So I logged into the profiler, and this is kind of the back end that has the layout of your screen. If I am working on a gun project, I want to have make, model, caliber, and gun type in browse for the week because I'm working on this project. So you click on the field, see there's the little boxes around it, and then down here I'm going to say I want that to appear in browse. Model, I'm going to say appear in browse. And serial number, let's do the same thing. And then the caliber, okay, appear in browse. So now you just come up and you save it, and then when you go back to your desktop client, when you click on browse, you're going to have those fields in browse. And then when you're done with your project, you can go take them out of browse. So I didn't know if you were aware that you could switch those around depending on the project that you're working on. All right, another little trick, remember contains. So asterisk, broken, and then asterisk contains the word broken. Go to browse. Since I searched by the description, I'm going to sort by description and look that way. One last trick. I want to look for all the suspects that have hyphenated last names. Sometimes when they have a hyphenated last name, it might come in switched, one time. Maybe it's just one day, one the next. Maybe they flipped it. So I want to find all my suspects that have a hyphenated last name. So I'm just going to go asterisk, hyphen, asterisk. This is all suspects that have a hyphen in the last name. And then you can see the results of that query. All right, other ways to search. Going up to your file menu, this contains most of the ways that you can search by methods other than the profile screen. Query by current location. So it just gives you a list. You click on the name of the location or several locations, and it tells you what's there. This is really nice for show me what's pending auction or what's pending destruction. Show me what is pending lab delivery. You can search by home location for those of you that use the home location feature. Query by date. Now in the older versions, the date, the shortcut by date range was by when it was last edited or created or transferred. In our newer versions, it also adds every date field that's on your profile screen. So you could say collected date or offense date or anything like that, or hold date. So that's this quick way to search by date ranges. You also have that query by scan we did earlier, the scan a group. We have query by the notes log. So allows you to go in and search for, you've got like a specific topic or topics. You can say, I know it was by this person or people. You can put in date ranges. You can put in, contains the word change. And again, that's how you would search by the notes log. Now, here's one that many of you might not be aware of. This is a fairly new feature, and it's called Query by Text. This is the ability to go in and search the whole system. You've looked and looked and looked, you just cannot find it. So you click on Query by Text, and it asks you, do you want to search all the fields that are on this main profile screen? Do you also want to search by the comments and notes? Would you like to search by any document keywords that you added when you added something into eDocs? And do you want to search by the name and comment fields? When we transfer that with a signature, remember I put those notes, it will search those notes as well. So again, if you put just the word Turner, then it will only look for just the word Turner in that field. But if you use your asterisks as your wildcard, now it will be anything that contains Turner. So I'm going to click on preview, and what it does is it goes through the whole system and it finds anything that had the word Turner in it, and then it gives you a list. Here is the name of the field it was found in and how many times it found it in each field. Okay? All right. And then, of course, we have my favorite, and that is custom queries. That is a whole other webinar that I love to teach, and that will be coming down the line because I just don't have time to get into the coolness of custom queries. The last topic is Excel. Sometimes it is helpful to take the results of a report you ran and push it into Excel. For example, show me all my money that is pending deposit, and then you want to put it into Excel because you want to total it up. Or I know in California, you have to, for your drug destructions, you have to segregate it by drug type. So maybe you wanted to say, show me everything in drugs pending destruction. You wanted to put it in Excel because you wanted to be able to sort each one by the drug type. So I'm going to, let's say Chief says, I want to know all the guns we have. So I'm going to do firearms that are in, and there's 150 of them. Chief wants to know, how long have we had it? What is the make, model, caliber, serial number? Was it a crime gun? Is there a suspect? That's all very specific information. So I ran that search. There's 150 items. I want to push this into Excel. Now I put a shortcut on my toolbar that says Excel. The longer way to do it is go to Tools, click on Export, and then Quick Export. Up at the top, there's a list of the built-in system documentation, like where it is and who created it, when it was last transferred, that type of thing. I'll choose the barcode. Then down here are all the fields that are on your profile screen. So let's put in the case number and item number, and then we'll put in the type of crime. Now let's see, Chief asked us for the gun type, brand, model, serial number, caliber, is it recovered, stolen, and then we'll put in the additional description. Now, if you know that you're going to use this template a lot, like you're using it for your deposit or anything like that, come in and save this as an export, okay? So we'll call this list of guns. Click on this, okay. Now this is saved as an export. So anytime now that I want to use that again, let's say I ran that report for my chief, and then instead of doing tools, export to quick export and having to choose those all over again, you just say, I want to export the current set of records I have. So when you click on that, it opens the prompt and it allows you to choose the template that you created. So here's the one that I created called List of Guns. and I will save that. Now we're going to export that onto my desktop. We'll save it. And hopefully that made sense. If it's just a one-time thing, just do export to Excel, choose the fields, there you go, and it goes into Excel. But if it's one that you're going to use over and over, save it as a template, and then you can just choose the template each time you run it. So now that it's in Excel, you can do all sorts of fun things. Now, let's say that I gave this sheet to the chief, and he went through and highlighted the ones that he wants to have used for training or to go out to our range. And he emails this cheat sheet, or I'm sorry, cheat sheet, where'd that come from, Shannon? He emails this Excel sheet to you and has indicated which guns he wants to have marked for training. So I'm going to come over here and let's just pretend here that this is the list of guns. So I am in my Excel sheet. I highlighted the barcodes that the chief wants, and I am going to copy these. All right. Now, because what I want to do is I want to be able to somehow be able to take the information from this sheet, put them back into a group so I can maybe print new labels or update them to say hold for training. But since they're on a sheet of paper, I would have to go in and type each barcode in, right? We don't want to do that. So I copied the barcode numbers. I went back into EvidenceOnQ. I went into my query by scan, minus scan a group, and I come down here to the bottom left that says paste. And I have just pasted those 21 guns in there. 21 guns. Click on query. Now I have them. Now I could batch update them that says hold for training. I could print new labels that has a big hold for training on it. Okay. So that was a little do a query, push it into Excel, choose some of those records in Excel, go back, paste it into the database and update them with the information I want to update them. Okay, I would like to turn it over for questions. Craig,
Okay.
do we have any
Yes.
questions?
Yes, we do. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Yeah, we've got a number of questions here, and as you guys are thinking of things, keep sending them. So this will keep us busy for a while, though. So we've got a few here. So I'm just going to start from the
Okay.
top of the list and work my way
Okay.
down. So we got one from Linda. She says, this for my transfer and transfers, all the wording is not there. I tried to right click, but it does not give me an option for the image.
Yes. So
Yeah.
okay, so up here, you're going to right click, make sure you have customize. Now the customize box is open. So I'm going to go to commands, and then I'm going to come down and find where it says transfer with signature. So now I'm going to grab it and bring it up, let go. When you first let go, it only gives you the image. And then if you want the words beside it with the customize box still open, right click, click on image and text. If you just want to shorten it, when you click on here, you can click on the name and you can name it anything you want. You can just call it signature. That's how I called mine Excel or scan a group. So you can call it anything you want. The key is have this customized box open, okay? All right, there you go.
Okay. Great, thanks, Shannon. Hopefully, Linda, works for you. If it's not working for you, maybe a support call, but I think it's going to solve your problem. And then we have another question here. Let me see, from Jean. She says, or he, maybe, I don't know for sure, but it could be either. When adding new users, we had a couple that somehow have their items being submitted to pending category instead of the intake category.
Okay.
How can we get this corrected in the system?
Can you tell me, are they using the desktop client or are they using WebView when they go in and are your officers adding items in desktop or WebView? and then come down to options. The key is make sure that person is logged in, and then go to user, and then where it says your location, they choose like intake or initial entry, whatever yours is called. That's only if you're using it in just the desktop client. Now, if
Yeah, she did say it was desktop.
okay,
Jean did.
they can also
Yep.
do that in WebView. I will very quickly, you know what? I won't, never mind. You can also do it in WebView if you go to the options on your WebView bar and then down to like my settings, there's an option there for you to choose the default location. So they need to do it logged in as them. Okay?
Okay, great. And if that doesn't answer your question, Jean, let us know. I have another question here from Margie. She was wondering, it says, how do you add additional fields like lab number, money fields, letters sent, etc.?
So just very quickly, you do that in the profiler. To see if you have the profiler installed on your computer, you come down to the search toolbar and just type profiler. It's a permissions-based thing, not anybody can do that. And so then you log in and here is your profile. And then you would come in and so you want to add a field and then what type. Now, again, this can be a whole other webinar we can go through on doing the profiler. If you have questions, haven't ever done it, please just give our supporter training a call. We'll talk you through how to add it, how to make sure that it is in the right place, has the right rules associated with it. Is it in browse? Does it carry forward? That type of thing. But the short answer to your question is it's done in the profiler. Okay. And
Awesome. Thank you, Shannon.
please ask us for help if you haven't ever done it. We don't want you to jack up your reports and things like that.
Yeah, not fun.
No.
We have actually one of our team members, Bruce Adams, he just wanted to chime in on, I believe on the searching using the asterisk, he says, if your case number field is formatted, it may not allow you to use the asterisk or wildcard character. I just kind of an FYI in that, I think.
And
Okay.
for then it would just be putting in the first 2 digits. So yeah, if the question mark doesn't work, just try putting in the first 2 numbers and it should work that way.
Okay. And another question from Jean, which is perfect because we just talked about the profiler. She says, if we have not used the profiler or administrator since original setup and do not remember our login credentials, how do we get that reset to get into those tools?
Your login is the same login that you use to get into your desktop client. So if in the setup under the permissions where you actually have the group you belong to has permission to go in here and it says modify application profile. First of all, you have to have the permission to do it. Second of all, you have to have the profiler installed on your computer. And then you would just log in with your regular name and password and it would know, oh, Jean has permission to be in the profiler, so I'll let her in. Okay?
Excellent.
It's not a separate
yeah, and if you need help with that, you can always contact support and they can walk you through that if you need to. Another question here from William is, we use the inventory jobs a lot for checks on locations. When we close a job, there's a screen that pops up showing that there is an exception. Is it possible that we can add the case number on that screen so that exception can easily be found?
Yes.
It's easy. Okay, yep, excellent.
Yes. It's possible that you didn't have your inventory report customized. It's still just sort of the blank generic one. So let me quickly show you what it could look like. Inventory reports, and oh gosh, I will just do this one. This is what I have mine look like. You can have this inventory report customized to meet your needs. So like here I've got the barcode of the item, here's the case number, what it is, a description of it. You can have that information on your inventory report. That way you don't have to just go in and I have to manually type in this barcode to be able to find this item. You could just scan it off your inventory report. So please reach out to support@fileonq.com. Tell them that you would like to have a more detailed inventory report, and somebody will help you.
Great, thanks, Shannon. Another question from William, also to follow up on that. It says, is there a way to run a report for possible duplicates during an inventory scan?
Possible duplicates during an inventory scan.
Yeah.
Like you scan the same item twice? Or
yeah.
so if you are doing an inventory and you scanned the same item twice, the barcode scanner is going to give you a funky sound. So it's kind of a doink sound. It goes beep, that means, okay, you haven't scanned this item yet. And if it goes doink, it means, oh, you already scanned this item. So it has an audible alert that tells you that you scanned it twice. Is that what you were asking, I hope?
Yeah, and he said yes,
Okay.
I believe, yes.
If you have
yes,
questions,
yeah. Yeah, he says, yes, thank you. So that answered his question, Jen. Perfect,
okay.
You nailed it.
No problem.
And the sound effects helped, at least for me.
Yes.
And then another question from Brandy. She says, tools, export, then you will see Excel. She's trying to remember how to get there.
Yes, tools, export. Oh, first of all, you have to have a group of records here. Okay, so then tools and export. Now, if you haven't set up a definition in Excel yet, you would just say quick export, and then you would choose what you want to go out. If you already have set up a definition, then you would do export the current set, and then you would choose from your list what format, what template you want it to go to. And then remember, you can put those up on your toolbar as a shortcut.
Okay, and Brandy was asking if that was a version 8 feature only, or if that's always been there.
No, it's been in 7 and 7.1.
Okay.
I don't remember on 6.
Okay, so Brandy, if it's not showing up for you after that little explanation, you may want to give us a call and we'll figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
Alma, she has a question. She says, is there a way to add scanned documents to all items?
There is not right now. And yes, I realize that lots and lots of agencies ask that, and there is not. However, what most agencies do is that if it is item related, then obviously you would, just drop it into the bullseye for that item. However, if it is case number related, it applies to the entire case, like, a JNS or something like that. If you put in the case number and hit enter, anytime you search for that case number, it's always going to come back lowest to highest, right? So you're always going to see item number 1 first anytime you search for the case. So a lot of agencies say if it's a case related document, we attach the documents to item 1 if it's case related. Okay. There's also there's a lengthy technical reason that we don't have the ability to update all of those, but I won't go into that now.
Okay, great. Thanks, Shannon. Another question from Ruben. He says, how do we create and use the multi-line box you have labeled additional suspects/victims?
Yes. So when you're in your profiler and you want to create a new field, one of the options, and this is in our newer version, is see where it says multi-line? Okay, so you create your multi-line field. Anytime you create a new field, it drops it in the bottom right. So then you can just move it to where you want it to be. This is kind of fun too. You can make this box short, you can make it big, you can make it an actual square. Okay, and so that's the multi-line field that allows you to just put as much information in there as possible. Keep in mind that multi-line text, well, I was going to say it doesn't show up on the barcode label, but I don't know if that's true or not. I think it is not true. And you also can't, I don't think you can batch update a multi-line field. So you can see that that's what I have for these additional suspects and additional victims is this multi-line field. Okay, next question. We should wrap up here in a
Yes,
couple
great.
minutes.
Yeah, we'll keep going a little bit longer. We're getting closer. So it says from Kim, it says, if you want to correct the spelling of incident type, could you do it without
Yes.
loose, items
So
that are listed
incident
in
type.
the incorrect spelling? Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So come down to your simple lookup. And then, okay, so my former coworker many years ago, he always spelled homicide, H-O-M-O-C-I-D-E, homicide. And it drove me nuts. So I would have to go in and fix it, right? So let's say it was spelled homicide. Okay, so you just come in to your data, your lookup, and then just double click on the value right now and fix it. Okay, so if you have like an item type, and you're like, I really hate the description of this. So all you have to do is come in and, double click and then modify it like this. Okay, and click on OK. And now it has completely taken all of those bicycles and they are now known as bikes. It's retroactive. See where it says bike? You just change the existing description. Okay.
Okay, great. Another question here we got from Margie. It says, can you delete an item if you've already entered it? And
My recommendation is never delete a record. I will give you a quick story because I was doing it and I got dinged by an auditor big time. If, like, say somebody put it in, it was a duplicate, or for some reason they entered it and it really didn't need to be in the system. I was just going and I was deleting them, right? Well, the auditor came and she said, okay, show me a list of what you got in this quarter. She goes down through the barcode numbers and she's like, missing, 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 missing. There were these gaps in my sequential barcodes. She said, why are these records missing? So I told her, and she's like, never, never, never delete a record. So in my example to you is, let's say officer goes out and collects a report, okay? They write up the report, it gets filed, etc. 3 days later, the victim calls and recants. The officer's not going to go up to records and shred his report, is he? No. He's going to write a supplemental and explain victim recanted, it's unfounded, etc. So exact same concept for your data. You're not going to delete it, but you're just going to document why it is not valid. So I like to create a location called invalid entry. I don't think I have that. I'll just do this right here. So I'm creating one that says invalid entry. Sometimes people will go in and blank out the case number, blank out the item number. They might go in and put in a new description that says duplicate of item number 4. But whatever you do, do not delete your records, because then it's up to you to prove that you weren't doing anything nefarious. Okay?
excellent, thank you. We do have a question which I think you addressed, Shannon, so they may want to rewatch the video, but they do have a question on how to customize the toolbar.
Yes.
And I
One
think you
more
covered that
time.
right up front.
Yep. Anywhere on the toolbar, right click, click on customize. Once you have the customize box open, now you can move things around. You can move things to a different location. You can go to your commands. Maybe you're going to send a lot of specific letters today. You can choose, a report and you want to put, a report up there. Okay, so the key is right click and get your customized box open. There you go.
Great, thank you. Another question is they said they were asking, this is going to be related to eDocs, but can we upload pictures?
Yeah, if you want to. I recommend that you do not upload pictures that are actual evidence. Do not put digital evidence in your docs, okay? Put that in your actual EvidenceOnQ digital system, because you need the authentication, the metadata, the security, that kind of thing. But for example, like my prosecutor was great about saying, there's no way I'm hauling that into the court. Just take really good pictures of it and return it to the owner. Okay, that's not vital for the integrity of the file. You know what I'm saying? That was not a very good way to describe it. But anyway, so take a quick picture and then drop it in here, because current location is going to show return to owner, and then you've got the picture in eDocs if you need it, to show that the owner and they got it back. But I wouldn't put in crime scene photos or anything like that. eDocs is generally for helping you become paperless. Things you would have had to take photocopies of to maintain, you can just, scan them and drop them in.
Yep, and if you don't have EvidenceOnQ, or you're wondering how that looks like, we're doing that webinar in a couple weeks, and so we'll be sending out an invitation on that. And there's also a brochure. I meant to mention this earlier and I forgot. There's in the handout section on the GoToWebinar control panel, there's a brochure on EvidenceOnQ if you want to download that to get a little more information on it.
Yeah.
Okay, two more questions, Shannon, then we'll wrap it up. Two more.
Right.
It's how do you print a checkout receipt with signature? So when you select print, the correct form is displayed.
What was the very first part again?
How do you print a checkout receipt with signature?
Oh, okay. So your checkout receipt is, customized to meet your needs. So when you, I'm gonna go signature. Come on, there we go. And then let's scan it to a location. Let's say release to owner. Let's scan a couple things. Okay. Now the reason. Now some agencies can just have one standard checkout receipt, okay? Or you can also have a different format of checkout receipt based on the reason you are checking it out. So for example, let's say, I'm just gonna say for court, this actually should say the detective's name, but you get it. I'm choosing it to go to court. Now I click on transfer, and then the detective signs his name. Because I chose that reason for court, my checkout receipt is now giving me at the bottom a place for the court to sign if it was admitted into court. So you can now transfer it to admitted into court instead of being in possession of the detective. Now you can do another one where agencies will say, well, our officers and stuff will return things to the owner a lot. So we did a checkout receipt. If they choose the reason is for return to owner, the reason is the officer is going to return it to the owner, the bottom section then could have a little signature line for the owner to sign and tell the officer, you have to bring me back this receipt showing you gave it to the owner, because right now it's checked out to you. So if you have questions about that checkout receipt, you can reach out to us and we'll go through your processes with you and determine if you need to have a couple different variants of, see, I used that word again, variant, in your checkout receipt, okay?
Okay, great. And again, at the end of this webinar, there's a brief survey where you can let us know what additional needs you might have that weren't covered here, or if you want to expand on your questions a little bit. This is the final question. Holly, you're the winner. You win the final question of the day. It says, is there a way to search for a word in an item type? Example, can I search for plant and the item type reads cannabis/plant material?
So for that, for the lookups, The reason you have the lookups is because you want everything to be uniform. So you can't look for within it. So if I would just say frag, you know, it's just going to look for frag. So you can sort by, say, alphabetical. So if I just started doing CU, it shows me everything that starts with CU. If you have one in there you have one that says drugs and one that says paraphernalia, and you want it to say drug paraphernalia, just go into the description and change the description. But no, I'm sorry, you can't actually search from within the drop downs because you've defined those drop downs.
All right, and Holly gave a big thank you. It sounds like that might have helped her. So
You're
you're welcome,
welcome.
Holly. All right, that is all that we have. Good question,
Thank
Shannon. You
you.
did a great
Thank
job.
you.
And
Well,
thank you. Yep.
I decided
um,
that 2020 was the year that I lost my mind. 2021 I spent looking for it, and then 2022 I have just resigned myself. I will never find it. So
yeah.
there you go. What you see is what you get with me.
Yeah, I hear you. So you did great though, and thank you everyone for attending. Look forward to we have more webinars lined up. Next one's on EvidenceOnQ, and we look forward to seeing some of you there. Have a great Thursday and the rest of the week.
Okay.
And Shannon, thank you, and
You are
goodbye
welcome.
to everyone.
All right. Bye-bye.